Rasuke here, and I want to give my opinion, my little review of Imbecile. I mean, Invincible. No, I mean, it's a bloody mess. Okay, so I was recommended to watch this. And before I go any further, I think it is watchable, I guess. It just depends on your, let's just say, geek level or fandom level, as far as, are you a fan of this or, So if you're like, I guess what I would call a casual or even really not a fan of geekdom or fandom, this might be very good to you. I could see you giving it a 7 or an 8. 8 is really high. Maybe a 6, 7. But if you are in the trenches, if you've, I can't even say read comic books. How about this? You've played video games. You've watched anime. You've watched cartoons. You've watched rated R comic book movies. Right? And some manga and some, like I said, I did say video games, right? Okay, I think that covers everything. And if you've done that in the last 10 years, some of us have been seeing this for over 35 years, maybe, about over 35 years. This is not revolutionary. Like, it's watchable. I mean, I'm just pushing back a little bit. I am shocked by a lot of people I kind of respect or people who I had, some opinion to, like, really? You think this is that good? Like, you would give it 9s and 8s and stuff like that when it's nothing? I mean, maybe you guys have been sheltered your life. Welcome. I mean, this is something I'm very much used to, not all the time. I will admit I am desensitized to a lot of this, but it's not necessary. But I guess for some of you, and you've never seen this before, and you have very soft and comfortable lives, I'm just asking, what's the big deal? I mean, Mortal Kombat has been doing this. There are definitely animes that do this. There have even been some American cartoons that have done this, even better. And I'm just talking about the violence part. The real part that's trash is the story. So let's get into this whole thing with Invincible. This is with Mark Grayson, gray area. I like that, Grayson. Let me say a couple of things that I like about Invincible. First of all, the cast. All this voice talent is amazing. Mark Grayson's father, who's Nolan, is the most powerful superhero on the planet, basically Superman. And that's the problem that I have starting off with this, is that this is definitely either a violent rip and satire of a lot of DC, a little Marvel sprinkled in there, but this is the Justice League when they go, what are they called? The Guardians of the Globe. These guys are supposed to be, the world's greatest heroes, as far as a group. But, then you've got Omni-Man, who is Nolan. Yeah, these guys are just blatant, like, this guy's Batman, this one's the Flash. I mean, and it's so, come on, War Woman? Instead of Wonder Woman? Is this, I guess it's supposed to be a joke? And I was kind of laughing at the names, and I thought it was a joke until we get, spoilers, by the way. I always do spoilers. Until Omni-Man at the end of episode 1 just freaking wrecks him. And that was a big surprise. I was like, Invincible's like this. Now, mind you, being a comic book fan and a manga fan and a fan of independent comic books of all kinds, I have known about Invincible for a very, 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 very long time. Not my cup of tea, and I see why. I've picked it up and looked through it, and I was just like, oh, okay, I see where this is going. And some of you who've read comic books, have read manga, or watched video games, or played video games, and seen TV shows, I guess, and series. I mean, this is not a complicated story. I mean, kids gets his power, and then after Nolan, Omni-Man just wrecks them, and that's a good fight. That's by far the best fight of the entire series, and nothing, I repeat, nothing in the rest of the series is as good as the end of that series. I mean, that's when I started watching other episodes, especially when he said I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell you what's going on and stuff like that. And I was hoping that maybe Guardians of the Globe was evil, or they were, some kind of like alien race, like mimics. They were, aliens, and they were the secret ones and stuff like that. But how disappointing that we find out that no, it's Omni-Man. The Viltrex, or whatever they're called, are, he talks about, we have a great empire, and it's technologically advanced, and it's, which is really weird that they fight to the death. That place should be a post-apocalyptic mess. I guess they just steal technology from the smart. They're like the bullies of the universe. They go around and just like, you're going to be under us because we're super, super powerful. Give us your technology, and then we fight each other to the deaths to leave only the best of the best. I wonder who makes that call to say, okay, we've killed enough of each other. Let's stop. And also, too, you're decimating your force, so you have to go out to alien planets, and mind you, they're humanoid looking, and they're all different races and creeds as far as human. I noticed there wasn't any alien Veldamites, Veltrex, whatever they're called. Anyway, so yeah, his plan was like, now that you got your powers, it's time for us to cleanse the earth. We got to take out all the opposition and get ready to fold into the Valdemar Empire. I would have to say one of the villains I really, really enjoyed were the Mauler twins. Like I said, Mark Hamill's in here, Luke Skywalker's in here. I do think it's interesting they did this whole thing with race swapping when it's not even necessary, and personally I'm sick of it. So for all of you guys who hate Amber, let me tell you why you should hate Amber, because I hate her as well. So that's a terrible character, by the way. I think she's one of the enemies of this, but dude, come on. This is a blatant rip of, if you've known anime even for like 10 years, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball, anybody, right? The Saiyans, the Vildamites, the Vorlons, right? They come. Goku was supposed to destroy the planet, gets hit on the head, and then, he becomes good, protects the planet, and then there's other Vandalorians out there, and I'm sure in season 2 they're gonna come, and just like other Saiyans that are out there. I mean, that's the thing. There's nothing really original. Oh, and let's not forget about, what is it, Team, which is supposed to be Team Titans. I'm like, come on, dude. Like, at least have some originality with this. And then, like I said, I guess it's supposed to be funny. But Team and Teen Titans, in case you wanted to know which one is Cyborg, it's got to be Robot. Real creative name there. So, people calling this genius. People calling this fantastic. If you're a geek, I don't see why. I mean, let's talk about the other thing. The violence. And I think that's what more people are gushing over. The violence, because they thought it was a Saturday. I can't say Saturday morning cartoons because that's from my era. And then it became super violent, and I have to admit, I was intrigued after that. I was like, what is going on? But then the violence was the only interesting part. And then, when it first started off, I was like, wow, the blood in here is really like marinara sauce. It's like straight from my pizza. Then the more violence started to happen. Then it turned into tomato sauce, like spaghetti. And I'm like, oh wow, this is really thick. It's got that slimy, when you feel the guts and this is definitely not for kids. And then later on, it is just full on like lasagna. Or full on like salsa, no chips, just salsa, just everywhere. And I was like desensitized by then. Like, there's just so much blood, it's ridiculous and stupid. And then the violence wasn't even a big deal. It's just, and let's talk about the main character. Mark Grayson, who calls himself Invincible, and I think he lost like 80% of his fights. And you could say, well, he's a teenager, and that sort of thing. Well, then you need to get trained. It's funny. I know I shouldn't compare the two, but I have to because this doesn't deserve the praise it does. I'm sorry. There are anime kids who destroy adults, that destroy warriors after they get trained or they have skill or power, right? But Invincible, who names himself Invincible, gets his ass kicked time and time again. And when I look at him, I'm like, dude, why do you keep wasting pasta? Oh, wait a minute, that's your blood. Because he's a loser. He is the ultimate. Look, you call yourself Invincible. I've never seen a superhero call himself something so mighty, so vainglorious, and yet get his clocked clean. Who has taken some big L's. Who is a simp. Right? I know who the star is. Everybody knows who the star is. Omni-Man. I get it. But, I've seen that trope a lot. He's just basically evil Superman. Look, it's evil Superman. That's all it is. Like, we've not seen that before, and I think he's still coming. Oh my God, how he destroyed his son. That was. I almost feel like this creator, Kirkman or whatever, maybe he had a bad day with his son. He's like, this is what I want to do to you. Put you in front of a subway. And just beat the living snot out of you, right? Like, dude, I want to beat you until there's no more color red coming out of you. Some of these villains are terrible. Battle Beast, which was a toy line in the 80s. There was a whole bunch of creatures called Battle Beast. It was a cool character. Like I said, there are things there that are likable. But I have to say, the rest of it's trash, man. And I'm not that interested anymore after finding out the big secret is just, I had to kill these guys. I had to kill any other hero that's basically not you, so they can fall under the rain. Because he was like, I don't care about Earth. Your mother is a pet. How many of you want to have sex with your pet? Your dog, your donkey, your emu, your llama, right? Your rabbit, your cat, your gerbil. But basically, that's what he said. It's like, and think about it. He's an alien. He's like, breeding with your mom, and loving her. Oh, I love her like a pet, I spit you out, and hopefully I was hoping that you would become a Vandalorian or Veldemar. What are they called? Vesuvian. Right. He was hoping you would become a Vesuvian and far away on the planet Vandakar. So I've gone long enough. You can tell I'm not serious about this. But there's a lot of race swapping. There's a lot of gender swapping. There were characters. And Marvel does this too. DC doesn't do that too much. But Marvel does. And now I guess Invincible does too. There were characters that were white that are now black. There were some that were male. They were female. That's the only, I think. And then I think there's one more. Like, there's a couple. And then there's these all weird messaging too. Like, there's a guy who was talking about at Mount Rushmore, some old white guy talking about like the founding fathers were slavers. and stuff like that. And some people were saying, because I didn't read the comic book, saying that was never in there. That's it. But as far as praise and it being genius and it being, great, whatever he did to make this, I'm now talking about the creator as well as all the writing and the storyline, and the dialogue is atrocious. I mean, oh my God. Like I said, it's barely watchable. So let me wrap this up. Heading into 20 minutes. Thank you so much if you've made it this far. I know it's random. I mean, the episodes are just, some of them are filler, and then the rest is just like itchy and scratchy. They fight. Fight. So on a scale of 1 to 10, what do I give Imbecile? Because he's such a terrible, terrible character. And also, too, let me say this. There is a black version of Invincible in the comic books, which I also hate. It's like, I guess when they run out of ideas, they go, let's change him into a black person, which is not even needed. I would love for a black superhero to just have his own identity and don't even mess with the moniker of a white character. Like, Invincible is Invincible. You come up with your own name and your own legacy and your own lineage. You don't need someone else's name. That's like if Blade, was a white character. They changed that, and that's the exact same thing. So anyway, scale 1 to 10, I give it a 4 out of 10. I don't need to see it again. I was really, really disappointed on the reasons why. The animation's okay. The fight choreography is terrible. Some of the character designs are good. Some of the fights are okay. I shouldn't even say okay. I just like some of the character designs, right? But everything else is just terrible. Terrible. All right. Thanks for listening. This is Rasuke.